What's up, YouTube? It is your boy, JB, and I'm here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode number 12 review. So you guys, we are one episode away from the season finale of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Oh, it's the fan. All right, you guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the episode review, shall we? All right, you guys. So the episode. Actually, no, I can't do that. So we're gonna have to go in order. So the episode. I think this is day 2 of the trip. I think, maybe. I don't know. We're still in Vegas. Put it that way. So we see Whitney as she goes to. Actually, no. This is still day 1. This is the dinner. So Whitney went to Heather's room. And when she was in Heather's room, you know, she's telling her about the day she had with, you know, how much fun she had doing the drag car racing. And she also tells her about, you know, Lisa and her slow driving. So she did tell her that, you know, she was able to talk to Lisa and to Meredith. She was able to apologize to them and also explain to them, you know, what her intentions were at, you know, Sharif's birthday party. So then Heather tells Whitney that Jen is not completely over what happened at the party. And Whitney is just like me. She's two-faced. Like I would have a lot more respect for Jen if, you know, Jen had in the moment said to Whitney, like, okay, when they were in those bathtubs. If Jen had at least said to Whitney, like, yo, Whitney, you know, I didn't appreciate what you did at Sharif's party. It was foul and you shouldn't have done it. And then Whitney comes to you and say, you know what, Jen, I do apologize for what happened, you know, for my part and what happened at the party. And then if Jen didn't accept Whitney's apology, then Jen could have said, you know what, Whitney, right now it's still a little fresh. It's still, you know, something that I'm dealing with. So I you know, I do appreciate the apology. I received the apology, but at this point, I'm not at the at this moment, I'm not at this place where I can fully accept your apology. But, you know, let's work on it and then we can get there. But that's not what Jen did. Jen accepted the apology, but she's still harping on this situation. And we're going to discuss that in just a minute. So we see Lisa and Meredith. Now, Lisa and Meredith are at the dinner table and they're discussing what happened as well. Now, Lisa and Meredith, however, you guys know, like I said, Whitney apologized to them, explained everything to them. They're good. So Jen comes down and joins them at the table. And, you know, Lisa and Meredith both explained to Jen what happened with Whitney and how Whitney was apologetic. And they were able to move on with Whitney. Now, Jen is still upset. And she's mad at Lisa and Meredith. I'm like, why are you mad at these two? Like, what did they do? So Jen keeps saying that, you know, Whitney lied. What did Whitney lie about is the question that I have. Because I still can't figure out what Whitney lied about. Jen keeps saying either Whitney lied or Lisa and Meredith are lying. Well, I will give you that one. Lisa and Meredith may be lying, but Whitney didn't lie to you. All Whitney did was repeat what, you know, Mary had told her, that Lisa and Meredith were afraid of you. Now, before I came on camera, I was watching Watch What Happens Live. So on Watch What Happens Live, Whitney and Gina from Orange County were on there, and a viewer asked the question, you know, about Meredith and Meredith and Lisa being afraid of Jen, and Whitney answered the question very well, I would say, because Whitney said she doesn't feel that, you know, they're afraid of her. What Whitney feels is, you know, when it comes down to Jen, It's the reaction that they don't want to deal with. Whenever you come to Jen, she always blows up like a Tasmanian devil. So they don't want to deal with that. And that's what I think it is. Do I think that they are physically afraid of the woman? Absolutely not. I just don't think they want the reaction from her, which, like I've been saying for weeks now, Jen is all bark and no bite. And I'm going to discuss that in just a minute. Also, speaking of Whitney on Watch What Happens Live, she threw some major shade at Jen. So they were playing this game of whose house is bigger, if you guys aren't familiar with Orange County. So the running thing this season was, well, it wasn't the running thing. It was early in the season. It was dead by the mid-season. So Gina had moved into a new house in Orange County. And if you guys don't know anything about Orange County, go check it out. I didn't review Orange County because of a certain cast member. Kelly died. I just didn't want to review it because of her. But Gina moved into a house. So Bronwyn and Shannon Beador, allegedly Shannon said to Bronwyn that Gina's house was sad and depressing. So they were playing a game of whose house is smaller. So they had at one point they asked whose house is smaller. It was between Candace's new home that she just purchased and Jen Shah's home. So Whitney said, what did Whitney say? And it was shade to, if you watched Orange County, you would have thought she was shading Gina, but I knew she wasn't shading Gina. She was shading Jen, because she said you have to actually own the house to be able to answer that question. And Gina knew who she was talking about. She was talking about Jen, the fact that Jen doesn't own that house, which I think we've all said that this entire season, that Jen didn't own that house. So back to the show. So while Meredith and Lisa are talking to Jen just flips out for no reason. I'm just like, girl, what is going on here? I don't want to diagnose anybody, but is Jen bipolar? I'm not diagnosing. I'm just asking. Does she have a mental issue? Because it doesn't make sense how she goes from one extreme to the next extreme. Like what Lisa and Meredith were talking about didn't elicit that response that she gave. I'm so glad Meredith was like, what, girl, once again, I am disengaging from this conversation. And she got up from the table. Now, like I said before, you guys, about Jen being all bark and no bite. Whitney and Heather came down. When Whitney and Heather came down, Jen, was hitting at Heather all up in Whitney's face with them ugly, long fingernails. God, those nails are ugly. And she just in her face, I'm like, Jen thinks she's a homegirl from the hood. She thinks she's from the hood. But she ain't about that life. Like I say, Jen is all bark and no bite. That's all it is. So the thing that confused me, I don't have COVID, by the way. Why did Jen have a bodyguard? I was so confused by that bodyguard. So we put on this was actually filmed. Actually, no, this was filmed after. They filmed this show after Potomac. So first we had Giselle with a bodyguard. Now we got Jen with a bodyguard. No one knows you. Now, in Lisa's interview with the producers, I don't know why she wanted to blame, Whitney for everything. The issues with Jen's marriage is between Jen and Sharif, nobody else. So, Whitney also let it be known that Jen has talked crap about them. She's talked crap about Meredith's marriage. She's told Whitney that, what's her name? Lisa's gonna come after her, so now Lisa's pissed off at her. So then we see the other girls. They go to talk to Meredith, and they explain to her what happened. And, nobody's surprised. So Whitney lets the cat out the bag once again that, Jen has been talking buku crap about Meredith's marriage. Meredith put it out there that, yes, Seth and I have been, split up from each other. This isn't the first time that we split up from each other. And, when we have split up, I have dated other people. Lisa didn't know that. Now Lisa feeling a little butthurt. It is what it is. Let's move on. All right, you guys. Next, let's discuss Mary. It ain't much with Mary, but God, her fashion choices, atrocious, despicable, disgusting, horrendous, hideous, a monstrosity. And then that room, that closet, it just looks like, it just screams an episode of Hoarders. That's all it screams to me is Hoarders. Hoarders. So she's in the closet with Charlinda, her cousin, and she gets a phone call from Lisa. And Lisa's just explaining to her what happened the night before with Jen. Mary is just like me. Are you surprised about anything that happens with Jen Shah? No. Because Jen Shah does what? Jen finds a way to make everything about her. I think that's what the problem is. Jen is a master manipulator. Actually, what it is, Jen has studied, when they found out that they were going to be housewives and they were cast, Jen went and studied every housewife that was the star of their show. Jen has studied Nene Leakes. Jen has also studied Teresa Giudice. Who else has she studied? Leanne Locken from Real Housewives of Dallas. She's also studied, I can't say she studied Vanderpump, because Vanderpump let other people do her dirty work for her. She didn't study Vanderpump. I feel like she studied Ramona and Bethany for sure. Who else has she studied? Yeah, I think she studied all the housewives that, are big names. Do I think Jen's gonna be a big name housewife? No. Let's move on. All right, you guys, and then let's wrap the episode up with day 2. So day 2, we see Whitney, Lisa, and Meredith. So they're outside and they're getting ready to go to do the day's event. So they call, Heather to see where Heather is. Now, mind you, all the ladies also thought that Jen had left the night before. But we see Heather and she goes over to Jen's room. Now, she wasn't expecting for Jen to be there. But when she goes in there, there's Jen in there with her, the Shaw Squad and her assistants, her hired friends, basically. And it's so weird. And that's why I say, does Jen have a mental issue? Because like I said, the night before, Jen was so irate and pissed. But this morning, she is in a better mood. And I'm just like, oh my God. She's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. No, I can't with Jen. So then Heather is talking to her about the night before, and I'm just in here like, oh my God, this woman is living in an alternate reality. It's like she's living in a Twilight Zone, because she is managing to flip this whole situation and put it on Heather, Whitney, Lisa, and Meredith, and she is able to walk away scot-free. Oh my God. I was just like, wow. She is a true manipulator. And she's delusional as hell. Like, it's everyone's fault but her own. And I was just like, oh my God. This woman believes the stuff that's coming out of her mouth because she keeps saying someone is lying to her. It's either Whitney's lying or Meredith and Lisa are lying. And I, it took me a minute, but I'm like, what Jen is trying to do is discredit Whitney. And the reason why she's trying to discredit Whitney is because Whitney told Meredith, excuse me, y'all, because Whitney had told Meredith that Jen was talking about her marriage. That's what she was trying to do, discredit Whitney. So we see Whitney, Lisa, and Meredith as they go to a hypnotist house. And, I'm just not, kudos to people who believe in, hypnosis, tarot cards, fortune tells, all that stuff. If you believe in that stuff, that's your business, not mine. But it's not for me. No, ma'am, Miss Pam. It ain't for me. So Jen and Heather do show up. And immediately when Jen shows up, the mood just went down. So the hypnotist was, trying to tell them how to, to put your hands out. Imagine that there's a ping pong ball in your hand. And then I'm putting a baseball in your hand. And Jen, I'm like, girl, at least fake that you are interested in this stuff. Like, you could just look at her face. And then the hypnotist also noticed it. She's like, what's going on? So they go sit down. And once again, Jen is just able to flip this and make it be about the girls and not her. I'm just like, there is no way I could be friends with somebody like a Jen. Ain't no way. Cause see, I'm an empath. Like, I can feel other people's emotions, and I would never want to feel what Jen. I would never want to feel her emotions. That woman is a clusterfuck of a lot of things, and I just couldn't feel her. I couldn't. I wouldn't. I would not want to. Jen needs therapy. She needs something. She needs something. So, Meredith confronted Jen about, the things that Whitney and Heather had told her that she said about her marriage. Jen straight out lied. I'm like, girl, I really hope they eat you alive at the reunion. So she starts to apologize, and I'm so glad that the hypnotist stopped her, like, that's not how you apologize. I'm so glad. And Jen kept looking at her, rolling her eyes. I'm like, girl, she's telling me something that's real. What you're saying to Heather, not Heather, but Meredith, is not an apology. It's not an apology at all. Just say, I'm sorry. Because you keep wanting to put a but in there. You want to put a but here, a but there. When you apologize to somebody, there's no buts. And you also don't say, if I did this, if I did that. That's not an apology. Like, see, me, I'm the type of person that I don't apologize. I only apologize if I know that I'm dead wrong in a situation. Like, I always tell people, like, only people that I really apologize to is my family and my friends, the people that I love and care about. And in certain cases, I don't apologize to them, because if I said something and I meant what I said, there's no reason for me to apologize. If I meant it, I'm like, I'm not going to give you an apology that I don't mean. I will never say I'm sorry if I don't mean it. You just won't hear it. Like my biological mother, I said something to her for some years ago, and if you would ask me, and a family member was trying to get me to apologize to her, I'm like, I'm not going to say I'm sorry. They're like, but what you said was wrong. It was wrong to you, not to me. I meant what I said, and I stand in it. So if you feel some type of way, you can apologize to her, but she won't get it from me. But you guys, that was also, the hypnotist went around and asked them, who does anybody not trust Whitney? Nobody raised their hand. Does anybody not trust Meredith? No hands were raised. Does anybody not trust Lisa? No hands were raised. Does anybody not trust Jen? Everybody's hand was raised. And then she asked, does anybody not trust Heather? Jen's hand went up. I'm like, huh? Jen is a conundrum. You've been sitting here complaining this whole time about either Whitney's lying, Meredith is lying, Lisa's lying, but you don't trust Heather. Make it make sense. The woman is something wrong with her. But you guys, that is the review. Like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Share this video and get down in the description bar. Go click on the link to my planner YouTube. Subscribe to that. Follow me on social media. That link, those are, well, not links, but those handles are in the description bar as well. Affiliate link is in the description bar. As always, you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance, you guys. And we shall get through this together. I am off of here. I will see you guys again on Thursday for Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. And I think I'm going to roast Kelly Dodd. But I'm not doing it tonight because the choice words that I have for her tonight are not going to be nice. So I'm going to, go rewatch the reunion and collect myself. And we come back to you tomorrow and tell you how I feel about Kelly Dodd. I cannot believe Bye, guys. Have a good night.